this may be the most important video I've ever done on my YouTube. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health and mindset coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And the reason why you're so confused and why 99% of the people in society are broke, sick, and tired is because you're looking this way at a pandemic when there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. Now, I'm going to break down quite a few things around the banking system today, and I may be wrong on some of them, so I want to be challenged on this. I'm going to connect the dots as I know them. I never tell you to believe a word I say. What I'm working to do is to open up your mind and awareness to the possibilities for you as a human being to be involved in the biggest shift in generational wealth. But I will warn you right now, warriors. I will warn you right now. If you do not have a game plan, you will get wrecked in the crypto space. Let me repeat that. If you do not have a game plan, you will get wrecked in the crypto space. People are going to come flying up with massive profits and they're going to come sliding back down. You have to build discipline in any investment, any workout, any relationship, anything you do. You have to be disciplined and stick to the plan. I don't care if the market crashes in May. I don't care if it crashes in June. I don't care if it crashes in October. I don't care if it doesn't crash till 2025. I have an exit plan and an ironclad portfolio to move into things that are going to hedge against the US dollar. Now, I'm going to take you through this journey. I'm going to take you through quite a bit. This may be a longer video. I'll do the best I can to narrate this as quick as I can. But I need to take some time on this, words, because we're going to talk about the fact that your banks now have to hold 0% of your deposits on reserves. We're going to talk about Basel III, and this is something I don't have a deep knowledge on. I understand banking. I'm going to give it from my perspective and the gold standard. It's almost signaling that we're heading back to a gold standard. We're going to talk about what capital reserves are. I'm going to talk about cryptocurrency and what liquidity is needed for the banks. I'm here to tell you, warriors, I'm willing to shut all this down if this doesn't work. I'm telling you, I'm willing to walk away from all this if XRP isn't one of the biggest shifts in generational wealth in history. The reason why I believe this, I'm not trying to shield XRP. I'm not trying to sell you XRP. I have a broad fundamental portfolio. What I'm here to tell you, warriors, is XRP is the solve for liquidity for the banks. So as I teach you the game so you can't be played, I want you to study this stuff. I want you to understand this stuff, or come back every single day. Send this video to your friends. I will bring you the information. I would show you our studio. We have cameras, we have computers, and we study all day to bring you this information, warriors. But I don't want you to be a pump and dump investor. Just come into the marketplace just to make quick money. We need to wake up to the fact that we've been predictive and preemptive programmed our whole life. The reason you are the way you are is because of your parents' subconscious mind program and your grandparents. If you're broke, it's your fault. As you're an adult now, you can make conscious decisions, but you have to educate yourself. You cannot move into this new quantum financial system in the old earth paradigm. You can't. So we're going to watch this video. The value of universe tops US dollar supply. The value of crypto universe tops US supply. I'm going to break down the new Fed, the actual reserve rules. I'm going to break down Basel III and gold and the rules for bank. We're going to talk about what capital reserves are. Watch all the way through, and then of course I'm going to tie in how XRP, I believe, is going to change the world. Let's watch this video first.
The CEO, former Dallas Fed advisor Danielle DiMartino Booth. All right, Danielle, here it is. The dollar constantly under pressure. It had a little bit of a bounce, but it's going down, down, down. Bitcoin, Ethereum going higher and higher. It's starting to look like the change of the guard. I mean, realistically, how can the dollar remain the world's reserve currency for, let's say, that I know it won't happen overnight, but I don't see how it can remain the world's #1 currency.
Well, Charles, you have to bring in the other player here that has not been mentioned, and that is China. And, you know, going back to only 400 years of history, every time that there has been a change in the reserve currency status of a superpower, which tends to last about 100 years, that's sort of where the dollar is right now. It's another country that comes in and displaces it because reserve currency status is something that is considered to be a political stature more than anything else. So you have.
Let's stop for a moment. I've been telling you for a year, China's going to be the new superpower. What is China doing right now? Cryptocito lived there for 3 years. They are so unbelievably advanced. You go to a hot dog cart in the middle of the night. I don't know if they sell hot dogs there, but a noodle cart in the middle of the night. She has a QR code. They don't do cash there, warriors. WeChat. They're moving. They have their digital currency already built. By the Winter Olympics, they want to launch their CBDC. 2022, they're going to have their full CBDC launch, Warriors. We are moving to the digital age.
Have to wonder if regulators in China and in other countries aren't going to start scrutinizing to a greater degree cryptocurrencies and take a little bit of the wind out of the sails of all of this enthusiasm. So you can't leave China out of the discussion.
Sure. The way we displaced, I guess, Great Britain and around, I guess, the 1920s.
Exactly.
The same could be happening real soon. Yeah, and of course, I do think, though, the cryptocurrency phenomena lends credence to the notion that the dollar is vulnerable. I do want to ask you, and I do have to tell you right up front, that there's so many moving parts and mixed messages in this market right now. So I'm trying to, I thought Friday morning the Fed caught a break. Now I'm not so sure because maybe.
They're just talking about the jobs report, Warriors. So cryptocurrency is here to stay. But what's going to happen, Warriors, is they're going to have you flood into I think it's by design, these FUD cryptos that everybody's getting into with no game plan, right? Everybody's rushing into Shiba, Dogecoin. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. If that's what you want to do what you want to do. We teach fundamentals. If I get into pump and dumps, I have 10% of my portfolio, and guess what? As soon as I make profits, I pull and I put into fundamental cryptos like Ethereum, XRP, XLM, things that are going to change the world, Algorand, ADA, okay? Not a financial advisor, not financial advice. Let's go a little bit further, Warriors. Okay, so check this out. 2/10/2021. Now, as you were looking this way at a pandemic, all this stuff is happening behind the scenes. Problem, reaction, come up with the solution. That's how our narcissists do it. Okay, so Board of Governors and the Federal Reserve System, this is right off their website, Warriors. You can research all this stuff, but it's boring, right? The Board of the Governors and Federal Reserve System Board is adopting as a final rule, without change. It's March 24th, 2020. That's my birthday. Hey. Interim final rule, amending its Reg D, requirements of depository institutions, to lower reserve requirements, ratios on transaction maintained at depository institutions to 0%. Let me repeat that. To lower reserve requirement ratios on transactions accounts maintained at depository institutions to 0%. What that means to me from a banking perspective is that they have to hold no reserves of your money that you deposit into your transactions account. So if you have $30,000 in your checking, I could be wrong, comment down below, I'm an ex-banker. If you had $30,000 in your checking account, they have to hold zero of that on reserves. Remember, fractional reserves, they can lend your money out. So what I know before is there was 10% of your money had to be reserved. So if you brought 100 in, I could lend out 90 of your dollars, your hard-earned money, Warriors, your deflating dollar. Okay, what this tells me, in your transaction account, where you do transactions, I have to hold 0% of your money. Why do they do that? So they can lend it out in the marketplace. Remember, credit creates salaries. If there is no debt in our society, we collapse. That's called a Ponzi scheme, in my opinion. So they're down to zero. This was effective on 3/12/2021. Did you know about this? Absolutely not. You're looking this way at a WAP video. You're watching, couples do these cute TikTok videos. It's all cute, right? And I'm the one getting shadow banned many times on my TikTok because I'm bringing the truth. But we're going to watch these cute little videos and do, some choreographed routines, and they got us locked in, Warriors, as your whole banking system is changing. So if you want to get popular and you want to get rich off your social media, then learn how to play the game, Warriors. Let's do less choreographed videos and let's understand economics, okay? So now we know we're at 0%. Now check this out. So now this is a website. This is a gentleman who's, I just want to make sure, this is the U.S. Gold Bureau, but I think it's a company that's selling something. But I want to show you this. It's really cool to see the new Basel III. Now what is Basel III? You had Basel I, Basel II, and Basel III. It's not the spice. Basel basically is to protect the banks from these financial collapses, or protect banks from going into a financial collapse. It changes the rules, right? So we went into Basel III, I think, in 2013. Don't quote me on that. But Basel III was to protect us from a future financial crisis. Well, what are we in right now? A financial crisis. So new rules for banks based on Basel III. Previously, banks could hold gold on their balance sheets in a form of uncollateral paper gold contracts without holding physical gold tangible form. These paper contracts were considered a good as gold when it came to determining how much the capital and bank needed to maintain on its balance sheet. Under the old rules, there was little incentive to hold physical gold, as it was only valued 50% of the reserve purposes. Basel III, though, check this out. Basel III, here's where we're heading, Warriors, in my opinion. You can Question me down below or share and educate. Basel III rules moves physical gold from being considered a tier 3 asset to considered a tier 1 asset. What does that mean, Warriors? Because it was a tier 3 before, they considered it volatile, they're basing it, taking it to no volatility, to a tier 1, okay? Think about that. They can actually use the actual gold, the physical gold, as 100% value for their reserve purposes. Gold in unallocated paper contracts will no longer be considered an equal asset. For this reason, banking is using paper forms of gold to help meet reserve requirements. Will have to convert those positions to physical metal or risk becoming too undercapitalized to continue to function. Remember that sentence. Let me read that again, and I'm going to go wrap this around to XRP, and you guys can help me in the community. We can do this together. So let me read that one. Banks using paper forms of gold to help meet reserve requirements will have to convert to positions to physical metal, actually have physical gold. Think about that. They have to get physical gold, okay? Or risk becoming undercapitalized. You need capital to run a bank to continue to function. I've been telling you this. Banks are in a liquidity crisis. They need capital. Whereas the old archaic banking system, you have to have capital on reserves to move this money around the world. Remember that as I get into the back end here. Okay, so let's jump into educate. What is minimum capital adequacy ratio under Basel? Okay, under Basel III, the minimum capital adequacy ratio, the banks must maintain its 8%. The capital adequacy ratio measures a bank's capital in relation to its risk-weighted assets. The capital risk-weighted assets ratio promotes strong capitalization and better financial resilience of banks throughout a world to resist economic financial shocks and crises, such as the global recession that hit in 2008, which higher capitalization banks can better withstand episodes of financial stress. Okay, so let's walk this through. So under Basel III, when banks have riskier loans, okay, they have to have more gold to back it up. Does that make sense? So Basel III makes it more difficult. They have to have more capital in order to have riskier loans. How do they meet their goals and financial goals is feeding the shit out of you and getting more loans. So it's making more and more difficult for banks to survive within this ecosystem. I'm worried about smaller banks. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But why do you think JP Morgan signaled to you guys that, hey, listen, fintech, we should be scared shitless, and he bought a fintech company? He has his own JPM coin. He has his own blockchain-like protocol. Bank of America owns 83 patents, the most in a bank system for cryptocurrency. Wells Fargo spent $5 million on a cryptocurrency exchange. They're not stupid, Warriors. As you look this way, they're getting ready for the biggest financial switch in history. Okay, so now remember what I said about Basel. Okay, so now they have zero in your transaction account. Let's be clear, transaction account, like a checking account. They have to hold zero of your money on supply or in the bank, right? They can lend it all out. Now, Basel III, they have to have physical gold now. So if they have riskier assets, they need more capital. They need more gold to back that up. So how could we fix this, Warriors? How could we fix this? Do you think we're going to go back to physical gold? Do you really think we're going to go back to a Bretton Woods standard, a physical gold standard? Hell no. We're not going to go backwards and get into the stagecoach. As Kev was saying, we're not going to go get a stagecoach and fill it up with gold. We're moving forward into flying cars, freaking electric cars. We're moving forward into going to Mars, Dogecoin, freaking all this crazy stuff. Whereas you can't go into a new Aquarius quantum field with a freaking stagecoach, Warriors. That's going to be in the history books. Your gas car is going to be in the history books. I'd highly recommend probably buying some gas cars, muscle cars. Those are going to be worth a lot of money in the future. That's something I've been thinking about. Dustin's like, yeah. So we're going to keep rolling. So check this out, Warriors. So go see Crypto Camaro. That's funny, Crypto Camaro right here. But I want to give him credit where credit is due. This is where I'm getting this video from. So go check out his YouTube channel. But listen to what I know, and I know she didn't get into the seat, but Judy Shelton. But remember what she said right here. Don't forget what we talked about last year, Warriors. It's a badass intro. Good job.
You mentioned the gold standard. I think you're quite well known for your stance on the gold standard. Would returning to a gold standard help the U.S. economy? Can you talk a little about your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say I don't see it so much as returning, but more of a back to the future.
Okay.
I think that what a gold standard stands for is monetary discipline for its own sake. That is, if money is supposed to be a unit of account and a reliable measure and a dependable store of value, it really shouldn't be subject to who's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. And I think that money needs to be stable and provide the foundation for productive economic growth. And when money is just a variable that financial markets toss around, or it's part of a derivatives formula, or it's part of someone speculating on currencies, it's not serving the private sector in the sense of providing that reliable unit of account so you can make plans. And under a gold standard, you did have that stability, and I think that's what's missing. And so I like the idea of a gold standard. I mean, it could be used in a very cryptocurrency way. The point is, do you have a unified money system so that when you talk about the international marketplace, everyone is playing on a level monetary playing field? And it's very important to have a rules-based approach. And that's why I'm advocating that we need to look at the virtues of a gold standard. And
All right, Warriors, you remember that video? Okay, so let's go back over here. Now we're going to revisit some stuff that I've showed you guys a long time ago. Okay, so this is the 116th Congress, second session, a bill to require member banks to maintain pass-through digital wallets for certain purposes for other purposes. Okay, so check this out. Where's it at here? I want to get down to the right spot here. Boom, boom, boom. Give me a second. Okay. A digital dollars. The term digital dollars means dollar balances consisting of digital ledger entries recorded and liabilities in an account of a Federal Reserve Bank. Digital dollar wallets. The term digital dollar wallet means digital wallet or account maintained by the Federal Reserve Bank on behalf of a person for purpose of holding digital balances. Member banks. Bank of America, Wells Fargo. The term member bank means any national bank, state bank, or bank trust company which has become a member of the Federal Reserve banks created by the Federal Reserve. Pass-through digital wallets. This is already past words. The term pass-through digital wallet means a digital wallet or account maintained by a member bank on behalf of a person, entitling that person to pro-rated share of the pooled reserve balance that the member bank maintains at any Federal Reserve Bank. Warriors. Now, what does this mean, Coach JV? What does this mean? Okay, let's talk about this. Liquidity explained by Ripple. Okay, liquidity explained by Ripple. The Financial Times defines liquidity within a transaction and how easy it is to perform an exchange of particular security instrument, or the ease of converting instruments into cash for withdrawal. This takes into account the stability of a price of each instrument. In financial transactions, the engine of moving parts is multiple factors, the impact of performance, then liquidity is the oil that makes it move. Good, clean oil in the form of cheap, ready available liquidity means less risk and faster, smoother transactions. Okay? Now, this is really interesting, Warriors. So banks and payment providers can then free up assets that would normally be committed to funding nostro accounts around the world. Even better, banks payment providers that would usually be locked up out of transacting on their own can now engage in international payments directly. Even playing field, the Basel III, no reserves. They need liquidity, Warriors, in order to survive in this game. American Express is a global digital reserve currency on the horizon. And I'll leave you with this. American Express, Santander, this is a long time ago, team up with Ripple for cross-border payments. Whereas, I'm going to teach you the game, Warriors. You got to learn this deeper than just a Dogecoin or a Shiba coin or even XRP or any of this stuff, right? Elon Musk, that was some exciting stuff. It was fun to watch all these TikTokers pump Dogecoin on Saturday night and telling people to buy in on Saturday night when they bought the news and they got wrecked the next morning, right? Yes, there's speculative assets out there that you can do really well, but if you don't have a game plan, Warriors, you're going to get wrecked. That's in any investment. The people that do really well in the crypto space, they have a game plan, warriors. So that's what we've done. We've created a community of over 1,600 warriors worldwide. You have access to my portfolio, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Access to my exit strategy. You have your own spreadsheet you can fill out and develop your own exit strategy on your own. We have cryptocurrency calls, technical analysis calls, Discord. We get together. We answer questions. I run a cryptocurrency call on Thursday. We work out with you. Nutrition. 120-day challenge, subconscious mind programming, goal setting, changing your subconscious mind around wealth. It's a comprehensive program to help you stop looking this way and move yourself to center and neutrality so you can become the narrative. Everything you need in the description down below. Follow me on Instagram, CoachJB_. As we always say, warriors rise.